dropped $8,000 on a dream vacation to surprise my girlfriend. She vanished on me right after. Weeks later, she messaged, "I miss you." But I had already said my final goodbye. I'd been dating Lena for just over a year when the idea took hold. What if I gave her the kind of vacation people talk about for the rest of their lives? Views framed by infinity pools, sunrise breakfasts on private balconies, little surprises folded into each day. Maybe then we'd finally feel as solid as I wanted us to be. We were both buried in the 9-to-5 grind. Neither of us had taken real time off in ages, and I'd been tucking away bonuses for something just like this. So when my spring commission landed, I booked a 5-night stay at an adults-only resort on Mexico's Riviera Maya. I handled every detail in secret during lunch breaks and late-night browser sessions. Business class tickets so her legs wouldn't cramp, a corner suite with a private plunge pool, a sunset catamaran cruise, and even a photographer so we wouldn't be stuck with blurry selfies. I even arranged for the hotel to have her favorite peonies flown in, out of season and expensive, but I told myself it would be worth it for the look on her face. By the time I added travel insurance, my spreadsheet tallied nearly $7,800. 2 weeks before departure, I wrapped the itinerary in a reused shoebox, layered it with paper confetti, and invited her over for takeout and a movie. When she opened the box and saw the airline logo, her expression flickered from confusion to wide-eyed surprise. She pressed the papers to her chest and said, "This is unreal, Mark." That moment alone felt like a down payment on our future. Travel day came at 4 a.m., a haze of coffee and suitcases. At the airport, Lena filmed a quick Instagram clip of the boarding gate with a heart emoji, then switched her phone to airplane mode. On the flight, she rested her head on my shoulder as we scrolled through movies. When the cabin lights dimmed, she laced her fingers through mine, tracing little circles on my hand until we landed in Cancun. The resort welcomed us with chilled towels and mango spritzers. Our room overlooked the Caribbean, and the concierge had arranged the peonies exactly as I'd asked. Lena let out a deep, belly laugh I hadn't heard in months and asked how I'd managed to find her favorite flowers. That laugh felt like proof I'd done something right. Over the next few days, we ticked off every item on my secret list. Morning yoga on a shaded deck, snorkeling along the reef, a tasting menu in a dimly lit restaurant where servers carried tiny flashlights. Each night, I slipped a small gift into her beach tote. Shell-shaped earrings one day, a handwritten note the next, a paperback thriller when I noticed she'd finished her own book by the pool. "Stop spoiling me," she'd say, though each time she sounded more delighted than scolding. On the 4th evening, we dressed up for the catamaran cruise. The sky burned pink and orange as the photographer coaxed us into candid, laughing poses. At one point, I caught a glimpse of us reflected in a cabin window, her hair tousled by sea wind, her head leaning on my chest, and let myself believe this was the moment our relationship shifted from good to permanent. Our final breakfast arrived on a silver tray, croissants, fresh fruit, tiny pots of espresso. Lena clinked her mug against mine and whispered, "Thank you for making me feel seen." I filed those words away, imagining I'd return to them whenever life became ordinary again. In my head, I'd already started browsing engagement ring websites. The trip was meant to be the first page of a new chapter. We flew home Sunday night, jet-lagged but content. She kissed me at the rideshare stand and promised to text as soon as she got home. I watched her taillights vanish into traffic, replaying the highlights of the past 5 days, certain the best was yet to come. But I didn't know the silence waiting around the corner would feel louder than any goodbye. That night, I stayed up later than usual, expecting the familiar vibration of a goodnight text. Maybe a heart emoji or a blurry photo of her curled up with her cat. Nothing came. I told myself she must have fallen asleep early. Jet lag hits hard. The next morning, I texted, "Hope you slept okay. Miss you already." No reply. By evening, I sent a follow-up, "Hey, just checking in. Let me know when you're free to talk." Still nothing. By day 3, the air around me felt heavy, electric with static. My texts stayed unread. Out of mild curiosity, at first not panic, I pulled up her socials. Her Instagram was active, though my name no longer appeared in her story viewers list. Her last post was a boomerang of her clinking glasses with a friend at what looked like a rooftop bar. She looked happy, relaxed, like someone who hadn't just returned from a romantic trip capped with whispered thanks and lingering stares over breakfast trays. I tried not to jump to conclusions. Maybe she needed space. Maybe work was overwhelming. Maybe something had come up with her family. But then I noticed she'd changed her profile picture. Not because she couldn't, but because she did it without even responding to me. After a week, I caved and sent a longer message. Hey Lena, I'm not sure what's going on. If you need time or space, I get it. But I'd really appreciate some clarity. Just a message. Anything. Read. No reply. I reread our last conversations looking for clues.
No fights. No tensión.
The trip had felt like a high point. She'd laughed more in those 5 days than I'd seen in months. She'd even cried during the last sunset, saying she didn't want to leave. Had she faked it? Was I blind? Was the affection real, or carefully placed because the tickets were paid for and the photos looked good? I confided in my college friend Tim. He didn't sugarcoat it. Dude, she used you. She saw a free luxury trip and took it. I didn't want to believe it, but it was hard to argue against the silence. The real gut punch came 10 days later. One of Lena's friends, Melissa, messaged me on Instagram. We'd never spoken before, so I was surprised. Her message was short. Just so you know, Lena's back with her ex. She told people you were never serious. Sorry. I thought you deserved to know. I stared at the screen for a long time. Not because I didn't believe it, but because everything clicked at once. The sudden warmth before the trip. The way she'd encouraged me to make the most of the resort. The perfectly staged photos. Her casual comments about needing clarity weeks before we left. It wasn't coincidence. I was her transition plan, placeholder, and now I was deleted. The worst part wasn't the money, even though it was a lot. It was the version of her I'd been carrying in my head. The Lena who said she felt seen. The one who leaned into me on that boat, who traced circles on my hand mid-flight. That version didn't ghost people. But apparently the real one did. I didn't reply to Melissa. I didn't text Lena either. Instead, I sat in my apartment for hours, staring at the receipts and booking confirmations I'd carefully saved in a folder titled Our Trip. I renamed it Done. But the story didn't end there. A few weeks later, I got a message from Lena. She wasn't gloating. She was sorry, or at least she claimed to be. Came late at night. I was half asleep, scrolling on my phone when her name lit up my screen. A weird mix of nausea and curiosity hit me. Her message was long.
No emojis. No hey.
I know I don't deserve a reply. I just wanted to say I'm sorry for disappearing the way I did. Things got complicated. I was confused. The trip was amazing, and you didn't deserve how I handled things after. I've been thinking about it every day. I let it sit. She followed up a few minutes later. I shouldn't have gone back and slipped right into something I wasn't sure about. It was a mistake. I know I hurt you. No mention of her ex by name, but it was clear who she meant. I didn't know if they were still together. By then, I didn't care. What struck me was how carefully she admitted guilt without saying too much. Part of me wanted to ignore her completely, but another part needed to speak. Not for her, but for myself. I replied, I planned that trip because I thought we were building something. You let me believe we were. That hurt more than the money or even the silence. I trusted you. That trust's gone. She read it instantly. Hours later, another message. You're right. I messed up. You were good to me and I didn't handle things like an adult. I regret how I treated you. I still think about that last morning. You looked at me like I was your future. Panicked. I didn't feel like I deserved that. Maybe that part was true. Maybe she really didn't know what she wanted. But people don't ghost out of fear. They ghost out of convenience. A week later, I learned she and her ex had broken up again. Melissa mentioned it casually. Said Lena was posting vague healing quotes and sunset photos on her stories. Then Lena texted me again. I miss you sometimes. Just thought you should know. I didn't reply. I didn't block her either. But I never engaged again. Instead, I wrote everything down for myself at first. Eventually, I posted it online. People related. Some said I dodged a bullet. Others said it still hurts even when you know you dodged one. They were all right. And the truth is, I don't hate Lena. I don't even think she's evil. But she was selfish. She wanted to be adored without being accountable. And for a while, I gave her exactly what she wanted. I just won't do it again. Let her chase sunsets and healing quotes. I'll keep my peace and my passport ready for someone who actually wants to take the journey with me.